Hi guys, so this is a general chit chat. I think it's number 6. I think we did 5, didn't we? General chit chat, number 6. Bit of a funny one really, because it's got nothing to do with the milling machine. It's got nothing to do with the Myford lathe, and it's got nothing to do with TIG welding or drilling or grinding or sanding. It's got nothing to do with any of that. It's got to do with this thing here that's running. So I'm going to tell you a funny story and make of it what you will. So my ex-wife is my landlady. My landlady, Bev, has a bedroom at the front of the house. This garage, workshop stroke garage, is about 8 metres from the back of the house, and from the front of the house probably something like 13 or 15, maybe 15 metres. So the other day she said to me, I don't understand what's happening, because a couple of times I've gone up to bed and I've gone to my bedroom and my light's been on. And I said, what, your light? And she said, yeah, my light's been on. She said, but I know for a fact I haven't left my light on. She said, and it was switched on. She said, have you been in my bedroom? I said, no, that's your private domain, and I've never go in your bedroom. And she says, well, somebody has, because they turned my light on. And I know for a fact. We pushed it to one side, and a few days went by, and a few days later she said to me, somebody's been into my bedroom again, because my light were on when I went into my bedroom. And I said, well, I really am a bit baffled. I said, but you know what? I said, my bedside table lamp were actually on when I went to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, and I know for a fact I didn't leave it on. And she said, oh, well, it's my bedside lamp. It's not my light, my main light, it's the bedside one. I said, how do you switch it on? She said, you touch it. You just touch it, and each time you touch it, it gets brighter and brighter, and eventually it goes off. I said, oh, I've got one just like that. Mine's like a bulb, like a big light bulb, and a base, and you touch the base, and it comes on dim. You touch it again, it comes on brighter, and off. I said, yeah. I said, mine keeps doing it. Never even thought anything about it, but of course, recently I got my radio ham licence. So there's talk on Model Engineering site and various other sites about inverters on your lathes and milling machines giving off all sorts of RF and causing interference to people's electrical equipment. So with that, I sort of, a little aerial sprung up in my head and thought, there's something not right here. So I've left it for probably 2 weeks and done nothing about it. But again, earlier on this evening I went into my bedroom and my light were on super bright, and I thought I certainly didn't leave that on, and it were on. So I came into the garage and I turned on my radio am equipment, my transceiver. Now this transceiver's not an old banger that chucks all sorts of crap out. It's a fairly new Yaesu transmitter. It's not fairly new, it is brand new. It's about a month and a half old. And on certain frequencies, I thought, I wonder if it's giving out spurious emissions. And for those of you that don't know what a spurious emission is, when I did my radio am exams, one of the questions is, what is spurious emissions? And one of the questions, one of the answers, the A, B or C, were little bugs that eat your aerial. which obviously wasn't the correct answer, and the other one, there was another answer about something else, and the other one was alternate frequencies that came, I'll come off your aerial. When you're transmitting on a particular frequency, you get other frequencies that come off it as well, which we'll call harmonics. So I started thinking, well, I wonder if there's harmonics coming off my antenna, which is brand new. Now it's on the garage wall, and at some point I'll do a video and show you all my antennas, because I've got one on the house, but that's a separate one for 2 metre band and 70 centimetres, which is nothing to do with what's happening here. And tonight I've done a bit of a trial. Now I tried 70 centimetres transmitting, I tried 2 metre band transmitting, which is the aerial on the house, which is separate coax altogether, and there was no problem. I tried all the different frequencies, and 14 meg, which is your 20 metre band, switched my light on. Bedroom curtains are open and I can see my bedroom from the back of the garage here if I open the blind. And sure enough, when I transmitted, the light came on, and when as I were talking and modulating on sideband, the light got brighter and brighter and brighter, then it went out, and it come on again, brighter and brighter and brighter, and went out. So obviously on 14 meg this thing is chucking something out. Now there's two things. One is my frequency of the little touchpad 14 meg, in which case that's why, which I doubt it that it's 14 meg, I doubt it very, very much. Or is it spurious emissions? America are coming in strong tonight. And this is a guy from California that's on. No, he's Eastern Europe, probably Slovenia or somewhere. Anyway, I've digressed. So possibly this aerial is chucking off spurious emissions. And I'm going to post this on the Model Engineering Forum, of which I'm a member, because there's lots of people talked about RF and the problems you get with inverters, which I've already mentioned, of course. And it might be interesting to some of them. And actually, I want them to reply to me, because I don't know what's going on. Now, I do know that when you transmit on a particular frequency, there's, I don't know what they call it, you get harmonics. So if you transmitted on 14 meg, you'd get an harmonic on 28 meg, and 56. You get harmonics, it doubles each time, or it halves each time and then quarters. So it's possible that the frequency of the table lamp is of one of those harmonics, or this thing's splattering every frequency everywhere. Now I doubt that very much, because that's a Yaesu, and anybody of you know about ham radio, Yaesu, like Summer Camp, Kenwood, it's good quality tackle and it wasn't cheap. So I'm sure the filters in there are quite tight and narrow that only let that frequency out. So if that's the truth, then the antenna is maybe splattering harmonics out. Who knows? Don't know. I'm going to add to this video, I'm going to turn the lights off in here, I'm going to point the camera up to my bedroom, and I'm going to do some transmitting, and you're going to see my light in my bedroom going up and down, up and down. I hope, otherwise it's going to make me look a fool. So it's a bit of an experiment really, and I just wondered if anybody'd got any ideas. Now let me tell you what I've done first before you answer. First of all, this garage workshop where I am is made of steel. The inner walls are steel, it's 4-inch thick insulated polystyrene. The outer walls are steel. So I'm in a steel cabin. My antennas, I'll show you. My antennas come through the wall there, and they're long adapters that are bored right through the wall. Okay, then if I bring you down, you'll see there is an earth block, and the blue cable, which is a 6mm, goes through the wall. The other earth wires you can see are earthed to the transceiver, to the SWR meter, and also to a power supply that you can't see that's at the other side. I'll explain further. Let's see if we're okay. Yep. So outside is an earth rod that I bought from Screwfix, a copper earth rod steel liner. It's only copper coated, and that's driven. It's 6 foot long, and it's driven into the ground about 5'6". There's just a stub stuck out the ground, and clamped to that and bonded to it is that blue earth cable. The aerials that go through the wall, I've scratched the plastic clean, and the screen of the cables is also earthed to this garage wall, and this garage wall is now also outside earthed to that rod. So I've got a grounding rod and everything's earthed and bonded to it. So the screen of the coax is bonded to it. The coax goes up here on a patch lead through the wall. The other side there's another antenna coax that goes across and up to the aerial. The aerial's on a 2 metre pole above the garage roof, and then there's the antenna. The antenna is a Sigma something X360 5 band or 6 band. It does 8 metres right down to 6 metres. It's huge. It's probably 10 or 12 metres long. It's a long thing with all sorts of extensions on it, and in bottom there's a ballon type transform matching unit. It doesn't need a ground plane, and it matches through all the frequencies. Although I've also got an MFJ Deluxe Versa-Tuner, which is an MFJ 949E, a good quality matching unit. So I always manage to match my SWR correctly, or within reason as best I can get it. But it's always below 1.5 to 1, and in a lot of cases 1.1. For uncertain frequencies, the tuner that's built into this unit also tunes it down to nothing. So no, I haven't got a problem there. So yeah, we're getting emissions to the out, which what's worrying me is that this is a tourist house on a row, and if I'm affecting ours, am I affecting somebody else's too? And that's quite worrying really. What can I do to lessen these emissions, if that's what they are? Well, they are. They've got to be emissions, haven't they? Because that's what it's doing. Anybody knows? You've got to reply. Put a comment. A lot of radio hams might see that. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Full of wind tonight. Had a curry. Yeah, it's a funny one. It's a funny one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock off. I'm going to open the blind. I'm going to point the camera up to the bedroom, turn it on, turn the light off in here, and I'm going to do some transmitting, and let's see what happens. CQ 20, Mike 7 Delta Oscar Zulu, calling CQ DX. CQDX, Mike 7 Delta Oscar Zulu, calling CQ, CQDX. Believe it, would you? CQ, 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 CQ.
I know the K4KIO thing. I had one of those when I was operating in Hawaii. In fact, I have it in a box. It's in my workshop. But it's got a lot of wear and tear on it from the sun. It's really deteriorated.
So yeah, you've seen it with your own eyes, what's happened. And I'm not confused because I know what it is. It's just that what can I do about it? It's a little bit worrying that my neighbours, and that they're all friendly neighbours, is that I don't want to affect their TVs, or I mean they could have table lamps, couldn't they? They could be laid in bed and the lights are going on and off, and they ain't got a clue why. It's taking them back to Curry's, what they're telling them there's something faulty, and they don't know it's next door neighbour that's buggering them up with this transceiver. As I say, I'm only running low power, I'm not running stupid power. Tonight there was a guy on his name was Rue, and he was in Barcelona in Spain. I come from Barcelona. Yeah. Anyway, so this guy, on here I've got like a strength meter, but you've also got a thing called a waterfall display. And the waterfall display, you can see the strength of a signal and how fast it degrades, and it's really good. It's a feature on the Yaesu, and I think the Icom 7300, I think it's got it. But they're really good, and you can see what's going on. Now this guy, when he transmits from Barcelona, it's like a mountain. He goes right up to the top of the screen, to the waterfall display screen part. So he's got to be banging 3 or 4 kilowatts of power out, and probably using a beam. Now tonight I tried to contact him many times, and he couldn't hear me. I got nothing back. There were lots of people that did. I seem to be in Eastern Europe. I get a lot of Eastern Europe, Slovenia, Slovakia. I've even got one from North Arctic Circle, from an island called Roleu, which you reckon 300 kilometres from the Arctic Circle. Where that is I don't know, because I've looked on Google Earth and I can't find that island. Budapest, Portugal, South, Denmark, Florence, Ukraine, Hungary, Ohio, Finland. These are all contacts I've actually made, and they've spoke back to me. So it's a fantastic little set. But obviously all the time I'm doing it, my bloody light's flashing on and off in my bedroom. It don't bother me, but it bothers me that I might be affecting someone else. So anybody on Model Engineering Forum who's got any idea about radio am stuff, tell me. And anybody who is a radio am that's going to see this video on YouTube can help me out, please do. I mean, I don't know whether I need another filter system on here, some sort of a variable notch filter that I can pull in, or is it the antenna? Is it too close to the house? I really don't know. I can't move it away from the house, really. It's up, it's quite a big thing, and it looks unsightly, I suppose, to a lot of people, but nobody's said anything to me. So if anybody's got any ideas, give us a comment, like, subscribe and share. That's what Salvage Rebuild says, isn't it? But thanks for watching, and as I say, general chit chat 6 about nothing engineering. So any engineering lads that are watching, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to be interested in this. But radio am people, anybody that's into electronics, maybe can help me. thank you and good night.